How many times have you heard phrases like, "The best years are behind me," "I'm no longer a young man, my time has passed"? At my age, you just don't do certain things anymore. Leave it to the young ones. I've lived my life. It's too late to change. I'm set in my ways. At my age, people don't change. Young people have more energy. I can't keep up anymore. At this age, what different thing could I do? At a certain age, it's normal to have aches and pains. Sooner or later, you have to die of something. Learning new things is hard. Losing memory and ability is normal at my age. These are phrases that, unfortunately, for many, sound like an absolute truth. But is it really so? Is it really too late to try something new, to explore new possibilities, to stay fit and live life to the fullest? Believing that the best is behind us is nothing more than a mental limitation, a barrier we place on ourselves. The brain is like clay. We shape it with every thought, action, and experience. And in turn, what we shape influences us, affecting how we live and act. Until the mid-20th century, it was believed that once the brain developed, it remained static and unchanging throughout life. Today, however, we know that the brain is highly neuroplastic. It can change, adapt, and form new connections in response to our experiences, thoughts, and habits. We can imagine it as a clay sculpture, one that we can constantly shape. This gives us the opportunity and the responsibility to shape our brain and thus our existence. Just as we can train a muscle to become stronger, we can also train our brain to develop new skills, improve resilience, and positively influence the quality of our lives. Imagine how the brain shapes itself in response to the thoughts and words of a person who constantly repeats negative phrases about aging and about themselves. Each thought strengthens circuits of resignation and pessimism, shaping a limiting mindset that, over time, becomes more and more ingrained. And sooner or later, its effects become evident even in the physical body, manifesting as fatigue, illness, and a general loss of vitality. Now, imagine how the brain of someone who looks to the future without being held back by age, but focuses on all the beautiful and stimulating things they can still achieve, shapes itself. Every positive and proactive thought strengthens circuits of optimism and creativity, building an open, resilient mind ready to face new challenges with enthusiasm. What would a person like this be like? What kind of energy would they radiate? They would probably exude a contagious vitality, inspiring those around them and attracting experiences that further nurture their well-being and growth. Many people around the world have achieved extraordinary milestones in advanced age, showing that age can be seen as an opportunity, not a limitation. The world is full of examples of fulfilling lives where age was never an excuse to stop being the protagonist of one's own journey, but an incentive to continue growing and realizing new dreams. Here are brief stories of some healthy, happy, long-lived individuals who have achieved significant milestones in their old age, showing that age is never an obstacle to growth and success. Fauja Singh. Born in 1911, he became the world's oldest marathon runner, completing marathons at over 100 years old and continuing to run and inspire until he was 105. He demonstrated that discipline and passion can keep a body and mind active even in old age. Ernestine Shepherd. At almost 80, she became a professional bodybuilder, earning a place in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's oldest female bodybuilder. Her story of physical and mental transformation is a powerful example of resilience and willpower. Doris Long. At 101 years old, she set a world record as the oldest person to abseil down a building. She began this activity at the age of 85, showing that it's never too late to embrace adventure. Porchon-Lynch. A yoga teacher and dancer, she continued teaching yoga well past 100. Tayo proved that practice and discipline have no age limits. inspiring thousands with her energy and love for life. Nola Oakes. At 95, she became the world's oldest college graduate, completing her studies and later earning a master's degree. Nola showed that curiosity and learning never stop. John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth, returned to space at 77, becoming the oldest person to fly in space. He demonstrated that even the most challenging feats are within reach for those who never stop aiming for the stars. Those who, on the other hand, adopt limiting thoughts find themselves trapped in a vicious cycle of negativity and resignation. What could come from such an approach? The answer is simple. They give up seeing possibilities, seizing opportunities, and taking action to improve their lives. The belief that the future is merely a slow decline drains the energy and motivation necessary to invest in themselves. In this way, every negative thought reinforces that very belief, feeding a cycle that limits potential and leads to living below one's possibilities. When, instead, a person chooses to believe that improvement is possible at any age, they open the door to a mindset that supports and guides them. They begin to realize that time is not a limit, but a resource to be used to create the best version of themselves. They become ready to see themselves as capable of evolving, growing, and living fully, embracing their responsibility to create a life that reflects their values, aspirations, and desire for well-being. As demonstrated by Fauja Singh, Ernestine Shepard, and many others, age-related limitations are just an illusion. When you cultivate thoughts of possibility, life begins to reflect a richer and more intense reality where age is just a number, and every day becomes a playground to explore with curiosity and enthusiasm. George Bernard Shaw summed it up well. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. But if you found yourself trapped in limiting thoughts, pause and ask yourself, where do these beliefs really come from? Often they're just ideas we've absorbed from external sources, family, social media, newspapers, and the common notions that surround us. They're called common thoughts because they reflect an average, a vision of the average human being, dominated by external conditions. But remember, you are not that average, and you are not an average being. You are unique, with unimaginable potential and an extraordinary capacity to shape your reality. Every time you accept a limiting belief, however, you choose to renounce this potential. If you begin to question these ideas, you open the door to new possibilities and a vision of yourself that goes beyond the limits imposed by external sources. Instead of saying, "At my age, I can't do certain things anymore," transform the thought into, "At my age, I want to do this or that because every moment is an opportunity to live fully." Remember, you have the power to decide which thoughts to nurture. If you start to cultivate the idea that your age is a resource, not an obstacle, that your body and mind are capable of adapting and improving, you'll begin to build a new reality for yourself. And with every positive thought, with every conscious choice, you are choosing to be much more than what others define as normal. You're choosing to be the protagonist of your life, just as Doris Long or John Glenn chose to do, breaking the limits imposed by the norm and showing that the human being can continue to grow, improve, and surprise at any age. If you're 50 to 60 years or older and starting to notice changes in your body, it doesn't mean your potential is running out. Age itself doesn't really matter. What matters is how you choose to react to what happens and which beliefs you choose to embrace. Marcel Proust said, "It's not so much who we are, but who we believe we can be that determines our life." The inner voices that guide your actions are the result of the beliefs you've chosen to nurture. If you let others' opinions define what you think is possible, you're giving them the power to guide your life. Every thought you choose to accept has the power to create what we call the placebo or nocebo effect. The placebo effect is the mind's ability to produce positive results in the body simply through the power of belief. In other words, if you believe you can improve or heal, your body can respond to this positive expectation. Conversely, the nocebo effect represents the dark side of this phenomenon. When you convince yourself that something will go wrong, your body reacts negatively, limiting your well-being and possibilities. Hundreds of studies document the truth of these effects. For example, in many clinical studies, people who were given a placebo, like a sugar pill, reported significant improvements simply because they believed they were receiving a treatment. Similarly, studies on the nocebo effect have shown that when people are convinced they're facing a negative event, their bodies begin to manifest the expected symptoms, even if no real harm is present. 150 years ago, it was normal to think of 50 as old, and so it was. Today, most people consider 90 as old. But what will be the new norm 50 years from now? This reflection reinforces the idea that what we think becomes our reality. Now it's up to you. You can choose not to be influenced by normal thinking and adopt extraordinary thinking to open up new possibilities for a long, healthy, and happy life. It's fascinating to know that many of our mental patterns and deepest beliefs are formed in the first 7 years of life. Renowned biologist Bruce Lipton says, "In the first 7 years of life, a child's brain is like a sponge, absorbing everything, and this is where much of their future behavior is programmed." During these early years, we are particularly receptive and shape our view of the world by absorbing what we see, hear, and experience from those around us. It's no wonder that as we grow, we tend to replicate mental patterns inherited from our parents, teachers, or early educators. Without realizing it, many of us live according to beliefs and habits we internalized as children and often have never questioned. We become adults and face life while continuing to follow mental models that aren't truly ours but were passed down to us. These patterns, if not recognized and reviewed, can limit our possibilities. For example, if from a young age we were told that old age is synonymous with decline and weakness, we carry this belief throughout life. So when we reach a certain age, we find ourselves stuck in these ideas, believing it's normal to stop improving, learning, and living fully. But the good news is that we can rewrite these patterns. As we've said, the brain is neuroplastic, which means we can choose to overcome the limitations learned in our early years. We can embrace new beliefs and create a different reality, where age is not a limit but a resource. Just as thousands of people have already done, we can decide to break free from old mental habits and rediscover the possibility of living with energy, determination, and curiosity, regardless of age. To truly understand what age means, it's important to consider 3 fundamental aspects: chronological age, biological age, and psychological age. These 3 aspects help us understand how we feel and live beyond the number on our identity card. 1. Chronological age. This is simply the number of years we've lived, a chronological fact that has nothing to do with who we truly are. Chronological age is often used to define people and determine what they should or shouldn't do at a certain age. But it doesn't account for our individuality, abilities, or energy. In reality, it's the least relevant of the 3 types of age when it comes to defining our potential. 2. Biological age. This reflects the state of health and functioning of our body. It's influenced by our lifestyle, genetics, and daily habits. 2 people with the same chronological age can have completely different biological ages. A person who stays active, eats well, and takes care of their health can have a much younger biological age than their chronological age. This means we can influence and improve our biological age through our life choices. 3. Psychological age. This is the age we feel we have. It's how we perceive ourselves and our vitality. Psychological age is determined by our beliefs, experiences, and how we see the world. If mentally we consider ourselves old or think we've passed our prime, our perception will influence how we behave and, consequently, our health and biology. The connection between psychological age and biological age is very strong. Feeling a certain age mentally profoundly affects how our body functions. If we convince ourselves that we're too old for certain activities, our body will adapt to that belief, reducing our ability to act. On the other hand, if we mentally feel young, active, and full of enthusiasm, our body will respond in a way that supports this vision, enhancing vital functions and strengthening the immune system. For this reason, chronological age should never be a limit, just a number, a reference that says nothing about who we really are. Here's a simple exercise to understand the power of our beliefs and how they influence our perception and ultimately our biology. Take a moment, take a deep breath, and look around. Focus and spot 5 yellow objects you see in the room. Observe carefully, note every detail, and memorize them. Now, close your eyes and breathe. Keep your eyes closed and now try to recall 5 blue objects you saw around you. Not yellow, but blue. Can you identify them? You'll likely find it challenging to recall blue objects. This is because, by focusing on what was yellow, your mind ignored the rest. Now, open your eyes. This exercise helps us understand what happens when we focus on worries or negative thoughts about the future, on how we might age with difficulty, with illness or limitations. By focusing on these ideas, you start building beliefs that lead your body to react accordingly, reinforcing negativity. Buddha said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." But now that you've understood this dynamic, take some time to make more conscious choices. Take a sheet of paper and write down all the beautiful and positive things you want to accomplish and live when you're 80, 100, or even 120 years old. Let your mind open up to new possibilities and imagine all the experiences you'll still want to live. This exercise will not only help you orient yourself toward positive thoughts, but also build a vision of active and fulfilling longevity, reinforcing your ability to live with energy, regardless of age. So instead of saying, "At my age, I can't do certain things anymore," try saying, "At my age, I want to do everything that excites me." Remember, it's never too late to start living an extraordinary life. Your age is not a limit, but a springboard for discovering new possibilities and rediscovering your energy. Start today, because the best is yet to come. If you liked this video and found inspiration, give it a thumbs up and share it with those who could benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on new videos dedicated to cultivating an empowering mindset and living longevity as a protagonist. Thank you from the heart for sharing this evolutionary journey.